Hey guys, this is Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, they've just dropped an event in game. It feels a bit shady, so we're going to go into it. We're going to talk about the event that's just been dropped. I want to talk about the fusion for both of my accounts, and I also want to talk about Hydra. And honestly, I want to talk about why I think Raid are struggling to get new content releases like Hydra or Doom Tower to get them over the mark and to get people like significantly invested in that content. And it seems to me that every kind of massive release is hyped up, it feels cool, but it doesn't land. It doesn't land with the community, and it takes time for people to really get on board with it. Hydra's no different. For me, Hydra has been pretty weak. I'd say it's been weak for something that should be like extremely cool. So I'm going to give some thoughts on that as well. But let's get into the event first. So if I go into the optimizer here, basically we are pulling something together for January, something which is going to be massive. But this rams home something about this event. So in the team optimizer from January, it's not released for everybody yet. It's just released for me and a few top beta testers right now. But basically we are going to have a function which will suggest a team for you based on your roster. And what it will do, so if I just pick up, I don't know, hard difficulty on Hydra, hit the suggest team, it's going to look at the champions I own, look at other people that are fielding teams with a similar group of champions, and give you options of teams that you could build out. And what I could do is I could just filter it by boss damage. So highest damage at the top down to lowest. And what you'll notice, well, maybe comment below, what do you notice as a common denominator about the best teams in Hydra as we scroll down? Whose beautiful face do we see time and time and time again? Almost every single team. In fact, one of the reasons why I've not really done a lot of content on Hydra is because I was slow out the gates because I moved house. And by the time I got there, I felt like I don't want to do another video about Shamal. Yeah, I don't want to do another video showing Shamal in a team because it's pretty much what everybody has done. And there's loads of content out there on that already. And I think, honestly, besides maybe Scratch, I haven't really seen anybody doing content without Shamal. And Scratch is having to pull on insane gear, insane champions, honestly, not insane champions, but, you know, specifics to get anywhere close to the sort of damage that you get if you've got a Shamal in the team. So they've nerfed deterrence because of Shamal and the effect it was having here. But you can just see every single damn team has got him in. I think bar one that I've looked at so far on the top damage for this event. So, you know, they've then, I guess, to try and give us a bit of a Christmas cheer. Oh, wow, look what we're doing for you guys. We've seen that Shamal is good for this content. Therefore, we're going to put him out on a guaranteed champion event. Thank you, Raid. Or Raid. Should we just rework slightly this Hydra boss? What do you think? Do a shard pull for one champion? Or should we acknowledge that one champion should not be the answer to a boss that you've been working on for like 18 months and perhaps rework it a touch? Maybe make that fear mechanic a 50%. What do you think? What do you think? We'll get on to talk about Hydra in a little while anyway. But anyway, what's going on? So, it's not a bad event, honestly. Aside from all of that, it's not a bad event if you've got shards in the bank. From December 28th to December 30th, so it's already live, we will do a guaranteed champion event to get your hands on this powerful Void Epic Shamal. The rules are simple. Summon champions using Void Shards. You will get Shamal on your 25th shard. Generally, Void Shards are priced at £4 each, pretty much. We'll see if there's any packs right now. Generally, they're about £4 each. So they're basically saying $100, you get yourself a Shamal. You want to have a chance at Hydra? $100. That's pretty much where it's going down to. So let's have a look here. 3 Void Shards with a little bit of Spondoolies on the side. Yeah, £4, a Void Shard. Now look, I'll tell you now, loads of people are going to pull Void Shards for this champion. And if Hydra wasn't around, he's still a good champion. Yeah, he was still used to blow up high levels of Doom Tower waves. And that's actually one of the areas where he's at his best. But since, obviously, Hydra coming out, he has got something extremely unique to him. And it's not his lovely kind of Stu Gaming type bald head. It's not his fancy crossbow. It's his passive. Each crit fills this champion's turn meter by 7.5%. That's okay. Whenever an ally receives a fear or a true fear from an enemy, this skill instantly removes it with no cooldown and fills the ally's turn meter by 15%. So for the Hydra boss in particular, every time that true fear gets cast, it goes on, it comes off. It's meant to fill your ally's turn meter by 15. Unless they fixed it in the meantime, I don't think they have. I've not seen anything to say it's been fixed. But at the moment, all of that turn meter fill has been going on to the leader. I don't know if that's been fixed or not, honestly. Perhaps comment below for other people in case I'm out of touch on that one. But what is happening for sure is people are getting a chance to proc Deterrence, which is a mastery that once a kind of a true control ability, like a true fear or a stun or something, gets cast on one of your allies, then everybody else has got a 20% chance of counterattacking. That's what's doing all the damage. So the true fear is being wiped off, plus all of your team are getting a 20% chance of doing a counter. You fill your team with AoE champions on their A1s, and we're getting a ton of damage away. That's kind of the only legit strat for Hydra right now, besides having insane gear and a pretty specific comp, which Scratch has done some great work on, honestly. So yeah, it's pretty nuts. And when I say he's used in Doom Tower before this, he was. So his A2 attacks an enemy 3 times, ignores 25% of the target's defense, ignores a further 25 for each buff on this champion. So basically, you can buff him with a few buffs, and he'll one-shot defense-based units. He'll ignore all their defense, and he hits hard enough just to one-shot them completely. Places true fear on all enemies for 1 turn if he kills someone, which he will. So not only are you taking down a defensive unit, you're also fearing the full enemy team. This is also a great strat, by the way, for the arena. Yeah, he goes in, nukes down the tank, true fears everyone else. True fear's nasty. Basically means that there's a 50% chance that when the enemy has a turn, they won't get their turn. But true fear, in particular, is awful because you have to make a decision at that point. It's like, okay, shall I use my ability or not? Because on true fear, if you try and use your ability and you get feared, it still puts it on cooldown. It's an awful ability. It's kind of like that. Should I do it or not? I don't want to lose my big ability and put it on cooldown for nothing. So I hate true fear. It's one of those things that it never seems to proc when you're trying to use it, but when it's on you, you're like that. Oh my god, I don't want to use my stuff. So Shamal was already good. Hydra makes him way better, and he's got an okay A1 as well, to be fair. But yeah. So let's talk about the fusion, and then we're going to talk about Hydra. The fusion I got on my main without trying, honestly. Well, I say without trying. I didn't try until yesterday. Yeah, I pulled shards over Champion Chase, so I got a few of the rares there. I picked up a couple of rares here and there, but I didn't play the game at all, 25th or 26th. I didn't pull shards during the Summon Rush. Yeah, so I didn't get that epic up front on the main. And then yesterday I looked at it and I was like, I don't want to miss out on this legendary champion. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if it's possible. And I went hard on the training event yesterday. I went hard on the training event and I got this epic. And then I was able to use some of the other rares that I just managed to grab along the way. And doing the other events at the same time that were available yesterday, I actually just got enough. I got enough stuff without pulling extra shards and stuff. I just got enough to get that legendary champion. So, you know, and the free to play, I've basically got him as well. I've got all of the epics. I've just got to level up Masamoto today, and then I will have the fusion champion on both accounts. Honestly, the easiest and best fusion I think we've had in a long time, and an absolutely like quality champion. I've done a guide on him already, but I've not played around with him on Clan Boss yet, and I've not played with him on Hydra. But damn, what a good champion! Decreased accuracy, block buffs for 2 turns, and increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown, and an AoE which hits really hard for a defensive champ. giving your team perfect veil, which is great for Hydra, and putting shield out as well. Also a pretty cool passive with a chance to freeze and do a bit of reflect damage. So it's an awesome, awesome champion. And I've got to say on this one, thumbs up, player. And this is the best fusion event I think you've ever run. I think the best fusion event you've ever run. A great champion. Very low number of books required on this champion. Very impactful champion in a lot of areas of the game. And you didn't have to pull shafts to get him. And I feel like you didn't have to do anywhere near all the events to get this guy. So thumbs up for that one. So let's talk then about Hydra. Also, what are you guys feeling about this? If anyone spends money on the game, this feels like, to me, a very good value pack. We talked about Void Shards normally priced at £4 a pop. Sacred Shards are normally priced around £25 a pop. And Ancient Shards are normally priced about £1 a pop. So you've got already 75, 100, so £160 worth of shards, plus a few extras, 160. It feels good to me. It feels like it's... I'm not saying go out and buy it. It's still a really expensive pack. But in terms of the normal price of packs, it's not a bad offer. Would we prefer something even juicier? Of course we would. But it feels like it's in the realms of I will buy it, at least as a content creator. But yeah, it's not bad. So let's talk about Hydra and why I feel like Hydra and Doom Tower have been a bit of a fail in terms of content release. And I actually feel like it's the structure of Raid, which is the problem here. So I try and compare Raid to other games, and there's not really that many out there, which, I mean, there's other in the same genre, but when I try and think about what Raid want to be, I think they want to be almost like a version of an MMO. Yeah, so you think about World of Warcraft, you think about those type of games. It's like you progress, you grind gear, you level up your champion, you go in kind of like raid style content with 5 people in a group, and you need a healer, and you need a tank, and you need damage dealers. All of the ingredients are similar to Raid, albeit in Raid you control all of the aspects to a certain degree, and it's a bit more of an idle game, whereas an MMO, you're controlling one person of that team, and you're way more involved in all of the aspects. And I feel like they're trying to be that kind of blueprint, but in their own style. Now, when new content drops in an MMO, there's a few things that happen. So normally what will happen is a big content drop like Hydra, you have to level. Yeah, so you have to gain power to be able to start to deal with the content. So let's say you have to go from level 60 to 70. That's the first point. So you have to just gain base stats. Yeah, you have to grow. It makes older content easier, and it makes the new content possible. Before you level, the new content is impossible to do. Okay? The first thing you have to do is level your base stats. As you level, you then grow gear. You have to gain better gear to even be able to be allowed through the front door. And you might go in there with the equivalent to us of rare quality gear, or even uncommon quality gear, but of the new base level. Okay, and that might be your first kind of step into this new dungeon, this new fortress, whatever they've built. And on that first outing, you might be able to take down the lowest difficulty boss or encounter. And with that boss kill, you gain new gear, much better than the stuff you farmed so far. And there'll be a couple of other dungeons that open a bit easier at the same time, which you then go and start farming. And there'll be PvP, which you then go and start farming. And you gather gear, There'll be more powerful potions that you need to make. There'll be more powerful enchantments that you can put on your stuff. And slowly but surely, you power up. And your whole team has to do the same. They all have to power up to be able to walk through that door and start to beat up the boss. And then as you kill bosses, your gear grows, your power grows, and you enhance. Each time you go in there, you should be able to take on the next boss, or at least try and take on the next boss. Okay? The challenge we've got with Raid is if the model was, well, you know what, you have to take all of these 6-stars to 7-star to get into the new Hydra content, which is one aspect that they could do. It's too slow to level people. It's too slow to get to that kind of level for multiple champions. Yeah, so that model doesn't necessarily translate. But the current model doesn't work either, because if you could do all of the previous content you can do all of the new content because there's no power shift to get there. There's nothing that drops off boss 1 or level 1 of Hydra to help you with level 2 of Hydra. Yeah, there's no leveling of champions to enhance your power. So if you could already do the hardest content in the game in Raid yesterday, then you can do it again today. That's the problem. There's no kind of development. So when Hydra comes out or when new content drops, like Hydra, all they do is they try and make it more complex, more complicated. Yeah? And we're kind of seeing that a bit with Doom Tower, but specifically with Hydra, where there are multiple heads all doing different stuff, which it's basically impossible to bring a team that can deal with all of the different things that are coming at you, and some of it's irresistible. Like, the concept is wrong. You know, it should be that perhaps each time you fight a Hydra, it's one of those Hydra heads with a few side ads or side ad heads that do something different, and you beat one up, it drops something, and it allows you to progress to the next level. And then that's something that is dropped. Maybe it's a different enhancement. You know, maybe the first boss could drop like this passive anti-fear type mechanic, which then enables you to go and deal with the Torment head for the second one with multiple champions. And so it grows that as stuff is dropped, it helps you get to the next level. Raid aren't doing that, and it's a fundamental flaw with any new content that they drop. So instead of it being like a progressive game, it becomes about, do you have that particular champion that does it, that helps you through it? Yeah, you talked about Bommel. Do you have that specific Samar, which gets worked out from the community, or Templar, or whoever it is? Yeah, or do you have those really kind of niche builds that enable you to get through that content? So they make it so specific to this is what you have to do that it probably strips the enjoyment out, really, for the new content. And Hydra is kind of that, but on a completely different level right now. So I feel like they need to fundamentally change the mechanic of the game when they're looking at big new content drops like this, because currently for me, it doesn't work. And, you know, 95% of people that are playing the game right now, they'll be looking at Hydra and they'll be saying, okay, well, what do I get for this effort? What do I get for the new effort? A bit of Clan Gold. Couldn't give a shit about Clan Gold, honestly. It's minuscule in my thoughts. Some of the new item drops, it's cool. They're cool. But unless I'm playing endgame arena, plat arena, I probably don't care about them that much. Yeah? They don't help me with something else specific in the game, so I probably don't care about them that much. The new champion, I think everyone will get. A bit like everyone got Drex in the Bazaar. Yeah? They'll keep working until they get the 100 tokens for the new champ, and then because actually a really great champion. But then I think people will stop doing Hydra completely, which is kind of sad for the biggest content drop of the year. And there's been some pretty big ones this year. Clan Experience, couldn't give a toss about that. So this is fundamentally the issue. They don't think about what do people need to do to get into the fight. How does joining the fight help me with other stuff? You know, there's just no thought process around developing someone's account through this type of stuff. And unless they kind of fix that fundamental flaw, I don't see how they can continue to do big content drops for endgame players. Just doesn't make any sense. So they're talking about PvP being the direction next year. And I honestly hope that's not... I guess they kind of set their stall by that, but I don't think that's the answer for the game. I think most people that play the game really enjoy PvE content, and there's a small percentage which will get massively invested in PvP. If they go for more like a Clash of Clans style PvP, where it's team-based, then maybe that'd be something different. But if it's just a bit more of the same, I don't think it's going to cut it for next year. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are below. Also, are you going to go for Shamal or not? There you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I will see you later.